Today on CityCast Boise, we're diving into the swinger lifestyle in the Treasure Valley and finding out which very conservative city has the largest swinger population and what groups of people seem to be drawn to ethical non-monogamy. Plus, we'll see if we can finally put the Hidden Springs pineapple rumors to bed. It's Thursday, September 12th. I'm Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. We have Candace Cook and Eric Zink, known online as the Impulsive Duo, and Candace also is the founder of Unicorn Landing. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so I do have to start with this question. Don't hate me. But everyone in the area has heard about Hidden Springs and swingers jokes. So I do have to ask, do you guys live in Hidden Springs?
We do not.
No.
Is that
No.
is that really like a swinger hotspot, or is that just a rumor?
No, as far as I'm concerned, it's a rumor. We have met one person that said there are a couple. I mean, the thing that you'll learn is like there are swingers everywhere. And so, yes, I guarantee you there are some that live in Hidden Springs. But no, I mean, we've been in the community here in Boise for, several years, and we've never met anyone from Hidden Springs.
No, there's more in Meridian than there are in like Hidden Springs by far.
Really?
I don't think we've ever actually met any swingers that live in Hidden Springs personally.
Mm-mm.
Okay, maybe
No.
maybe today is the day we're putting those rumors to rest.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you both because you run a local Facebook group for swingers and for people in the non-monogamous lifestyle. You have an app for people in the lifestyle, and you have a social media platform where you discuss swinging. Now, I don't have a lot of experience, so I might be way off base here, but it seems like people in this lifestyle are usually pretty private about what they do.
Yeah.
So what is it like being very open about being in the swinger lifestyle or non-monogamous lifestyle and making it your business?
I would say it's extremely empowering. You'd be surprised how much you have people that want to live vicariously through you who don't know really what swinging is. It's this portrayal of like this is something dark and seedy in the back street alleys in this dingy motel. But when you really get into this, you're like, holy cow, these are doctors, lawyers, judges, extremely high class individuals in a lot of areas. And it's not all about playing with others per se, as much as it is about friendship and maybe fantasies, voyeuristic exhibitionists. I mean, there's a lot of people in this lifestyle that don't even do anything physically with others.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We kind of call it like a lifestyle for a reason. It's a very blanketed term. But yeah, I think when we did start doing social media, it was we tiptoed into it. And it's like the more you do it, the more comfortable you are with sharing. But it definitely was a process to get to the point where we were so open about it. And then seeing other people open about it. And then I think the feedback that we received from so many people, thanking us for making, sharing about this stuff and making it a little more, normal or mainstream, or letting people know they're not alone. And that really like kind of feeds your desire and like, to continue to make the content and to share. And yeah.
Boise it's a blue dot in a very red state, but even being the blue dot that it is, this is a really conservative area, especially if you get outside of certain Boise neighborhoods. So are there really that many people in this area that are interested or involved in swinging or this lifestyle?
You would be shocked. And people, and it doesn't even play anything political. You'll have every walk of life, every, political parties, careers, like everything. You will find conservatives, non-conservatives, a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, things like that. You do find all mixes. And it's just almost a very common understanding that you don't discuss those things. And so really, you would think it would be conservative, but you would be shocked how many people. I mean, I joined apps and I've gotten in the group, and I've had people that I lived in Boise for a very long time, and people that I've seen on apps or join, our Facebook group, or I've seen at events. I'm like, I would have no idea. Like, you would have no idea that these people that you think are conservative or possibly religious are dipping their toes in, or things like that. And yeah. So no, and I honestly, people ask all the time, like, do you deal with, the hate or the religious community or anything like that? And truthfully, no. I mean, I'm obviously very public about what I do, but also we have found over the years that people who are not in the lifestyle or interested in finding out about the lifestyle don't find us. You don't get on lifestyle apps. You don't get on Swing Talk on, on TikTok or come across those things. I mean, maybe occasionally something might pop up in your algorithm, but you don't, I'm very public about what I do, but I'm also very involved in like my kids' schools and, and no, none of those people really know what I do.
So if people recognize you, it probably isn't like an algorithm fluke.
We've been recognized many of times on the street here, but it's by people who do follow us or that are, it's not random people who have nothing to do with this lifestyle that are like, oh, hey, I saw you guys online. You do get some monogamous couples that do follow us because a lot of them do learn from this lifestyle. I mean, communication is really important. Boundaries important. How do you build trust? So you get actually a lot of monogamous couples that learn from the lifestyle, like to have a healthy communication in their relationship.
And they're open-minded.
Yeah, and they're very open-minded about it. But for the most part, you kind of have to want to seek it.
Like that day we got recognized, we were on a walk in our neighborhood and some lady pulled up next to us in like this big SUV that had tinted windows, and she rolled her windows down. She was like, "Hey, I recognize you guys." And we were like, what?
I was just sending my husband some of your guys' TikToks.
We were like, oh, hey.
Hi.
So if I can ask, why, in your opinion, do people start swinging or couples start getting into a non-monogamous lifestyle?
The majority, I would say, are people that want to explore their sexuality. So it'll typically be, for the most part, it's going to be women who want to kind of explore, like, they're bi-curious, things like that. They have interest in women, or they are bisexual. And they kind of, share these feelings with their husbands or partners. And they're, the partners are like, heck yeah, sounds fun. And then, or vice versa, there's men out there who are bisexual.
Sometimes it's just to spice up your relationship a little bit, like, hey, let's go to a lifestyle club and just see what this is about. It is people like the voyeuristic side, the exhibitionist side. And one of the big things that keeps, I think, a lot of people in this lifestyle, your demographics is between 35 to 55 is the average age of swingers.
Oh, okay.
And a majority of individuals at that age, your only friends are like work friends or your kids, friends' parents and stuff, or high school friends. That's it. And it's hard to get new friends. And then all of a sudden you find this really open-minded community. And so you start actually finding real friends in this community. And just because they're your friend doesn't mean necessarily you're going to play with them, whatever. Swingers are actually really picky. But it's like you just find these open-minded, like-minded people that are fun to go, hey, you share the same hobby as I do. Cool. And you're not going to judge me and my wife when we all go out to dinner and we tell you about some hot experience we had, or you had some hot experience, whatever. And we're all like, dude, that sounds like cool.
Yeah. Or like, have you ever gone on vacation? Like the first time we ever went to a club before we were just kind of new and dipping our toes in. We, went to Las Vegas. And when you're out of town, you travel, you're kind of like, ooh, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Like what's this all about? And like, I think it just kind of was like, you get a little spicy side when you go away for a weekend, or, a lot of people only play when they travel, things like that. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I hope this isn't too taboo, but
No.
I've always been curious. I've always been curious about the jealousy aspect. So do you not get jealous, or how do you manage jealousy?
Oh, no, you get jealous.
Oh, no. Jealousy is a very normal human reaction, and it definitely plays a role. But what we tell people, and kind of what we get this question a lot, is what's making you jealous is always start. Like there's, is it the actual act of your husband with somebody, or talking to another girl, or talking to somebody without you? Or is it when your husband starts talking about some other girl's, nice chest, or, something you're self-conscious about? And so you have boundaries in place, and your partner has to respect you enough. I'm his priority to know he doesn't do those things to make me jealous. You know what I mean? Or if there's something that I have an insecurity about, like say I don't know, I hated my legs or whatever, and Eric's talking about all these other women's legs or something. It's like you don't do that to your partner. You safeguard your relationship. And so you don't do things to try to push your partner or make them jealous. So ever you go to a play situation or you go to an event, you reconnect afterwards, and we talk about what we did, how we felt, what we liked, what we didn't like. Like you just have to be so unbelievably vulnerable and open with your partner to to kind of just protect it and protect those things. So that's my opinion.
And as you grow together as a relationship through this, it all kind of changes. Because in the beginning, a lot of it's fear of loss. That's what brings up the jealousy. It's trauma, fear of loss, insecurities. What if my partner likes somebody else? I can tell you this. Candace and I have been together for years. An hour playing with somebody isn't going to just scrap all of our goals and our dreams and everything that we've done together, our life, our family. It's not. And then once you really get that into your head of like realizing like, hey, this is just something fun that we do together. How do we protect our relationship? You come up with these boundaries. Like for us, we'll only play together. We only play in the same room. And we respect each other, and you realize that your relationship's that number one priority. And you overcome the jealousy together. And the amazing thing is when a couple overcomes it together and you don't sweep it under the rug, you have to have that trust. And it's all of a sudden so relieving when your partner has your back.
So I think people, myself included, probably have some stereotypes that come to mind when we think of swingers or people who are living a non-monogamous lifestyle. So what is the local swinging scene like? And would people be surprised by who is participating in this lifestyle?
Yes, 100%. I mean, you will see every walk of life. I obviously would never go into details about who I see, but just know that there are some very high level doctors that hang out at these events, and local lawyers and law enforcement and nurses. It's so diverse. And I think that's also what makes it so fun, is because you get to just let loose at these, events or things like that with people from no judgment. And it brings so many different types of people together.
Is that maybe part of it? Maybe is it people maybe who live these kind of intense lives or hard careers and stuff? And so maybe it's that work hard, play hard thing?
100%. Oh, 100%. You'll see these women just totally be able to let loose and, dance and be themselves and get to explore that side of themselves with no judgment with other women. And that was even kind of where my app, as my app came into play, as society tells us as women who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to do, mothers, wives, and not get to explore our sexuality or things like that. And so to be able to let loose and explore different people and different things and situations and dynamics is, I think, one of the funnest things that I've gotten to see. And just, yeah.
No, it's really, and you see these people because they are so empowering. And we actually talked to somebody yesterday and made one of the greatest points in the world is, especially as women, you are allowed to enjoy sex. And it's not just to please your husband or to have babies. It's go and have fun with this. Have fun with your partner with it. And that's, man, you have stress at home, work, everywhere else. So if you can go and just be yourself and just enjoy and get done. And next thing you know, you and your partner now are having this amazing communication the next day after that of, hey, God, 3 nights ago, remember when we did this? It just keeps that passion, that fire alive in your relationship, and it doesn't get boring and mundane.
Yeah. Because most of the people in this lifestyle have we live very, people ask Eric and I all the time, just because what we do. We live very normal monogamous life also. We have a very normal relationship. We go on vanilla trips. We have kids. We travel. I have a home. We're very normal also. It's just sometimes these people, we have a little spicy weekend hobby sometimes.
Can I ask, what is up with the pineapple symbol? Eric, nobody can see this, but you've got one on your hat. And
are you wearing your Professor Pineapple hat? Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's the rumor with Hidden Springs. Everybody's got the upside down pineapple. What's up with that symbol?
Did you know, in Hidden Springs, side note, the restaurant out there actually has a pineapple in it. And I've taken a photo on it before because I'm like, come on, guys, you're not doing yourself any favor by having a pineapple on the wall in here.
Oh, that's epic. The pineapple is a symbol of hospitality. Mm. And so before the internet, it was a symbol of hospitality. And in 2017, it got recognized by Wikipedia as the upside down pineapple is a symbol of swinging. To find the exact person and how, when, and where they put the pineapple upside down, I cannot find it. I don't know anyone that can, but it just kind of got adopted as, hey, the upside down pineapple was this hospitality party.
People would put it outside their houses, years ago, if they were having a swingers party, they'd put a pineapple upside down. And like Eric said, that's why a lot of hotels, things like that use pineapples, even right side up, just because it's that symbol. And so it just caught on. And there's, again, like you said, there's no exact person, but it's It's just become the.
And is it like, do you guys really use it? Like, I know that's like part of the like stereotype or the like urban legend, but is it like you guys actually use that within that community?
Swingers collect them, but like it's not one of those things like you're not out in the blue where you're like, hey,
No.
let's put on our pineapple stuff and go find some swingers at the
No.
local bar.
Okay, so yeah, if you buy like swinger or like pineapple earrings, nobody's gonna like a suit.
No.
Okay, or maybe
No, and I would never, like, you see people in pineapple shirts all the time, you know, like men in button-ups or whatever. I would never approach somebody and be like, oh, are you a swinger?
It's a silly stereotype that's not real, but as a joke, then we all make it real.
Yeah.
You both make a lot of reels and posts for people who are looking at or new to swinging, and you're even writing a book. So what got you interested in making that kind of content?
I think for us, I know how hard it was when we started kind of exploring, but our content was really geared towards the new person. If you're a newbie, because our book is called Swinging for Newbies, it's kind of a series that we talk about. It's what our Facebook group is called. And when you're new to the lifestyle, asking these real questions, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's not just all sex, drugs, rock and roll, party all the time. Like it's a real thing. You're bringing this into your relationship. And so we really wanted to share the good, the things we had learned, how to get into the lifestyle in a safe way, resources, without it just being portrayed as a lot of the content that we were seeing is just, girls in their bikinis, like trying to sell their adult content and making it really sounds bad, but making it too sexual when it's funny. I'm like, how do you keep the lifestyle classy? Like, and not always so sexual. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Like we call it the lifestyle, a blanket. It's a umbrella of a non-monogamous. Like we have a lot of friends who are in the lifestyle that we don't necessarily play with. Like it's a community and it's a community of people. And so we just really wanted to share the educational side of it more than the everyone's hooking up with everybody every weekend and that's all we do side, because it's not true for 99% of people in this lifestyle.
And then also to back up even the facts behind it, like a lot of people think people get into swing because you want to cheat on your partner, or people are in this lifestyle to cheat and all of this.
He's not good enough for you.
Yeah,
can't satisfy each other. Yeah.
And so to really let people know, like, hey, this is not a lifestyle for everybody. It really isn't. And if it is for you, cool. Here's kind of what we wish we would have known when we got into it, what we've learned, and found that was kind of the best way to, help people get into this lifestyle in a fun way so that you don't have this first experience. Because we've talked to a lot of people who have an experience and all of a sudden they're in marriage counseling and, they're having massive issues because they didn't dip their toes and they jumped in the deep end and went, oh, wow.
You think it's going to be hot and you have all these fantasies in your head until you're put in that position and you see your partner with somebody else, or you do something and you're like, oh. Or we had a lot of people approaching us and being like, oh, I see all these creators and they're all like super skinny and like in their bikinis running around at parties making content. Like, do I have to do that to be in the lifestyle? And we were like, absolutely not. So we really try to show that most of the people in this lifestyle are everyday parents, business professionals, things like that just add a little spicy hobby. And how do you do it safely and, protect your relationship, and making sure your relationship is always priority. So.
And balancing out your life, because that's the other thing too. Social media portrays it as this is the only thing that people do. Then all of a sudden, if you're swingers, this is all you do. It's a revolving door. There's constantly people coming over, and it's like, no, like the average swinging couple might play 1 to 6 times a year. So this isn't something that people are doing it all the time. And then it lets other people know, oh, okay, good, great. This isn't something like that I have to do all the time. No, man. Go at your pace and get what you want out of it. It's just about you and your partner.
Yeah, it sounds like you really want to maybe enrich the local community and balance expectations and things like that.
Yes.
Okay, so bouncing off of that, I know there's a lot of curiosity. People are, really, I do have this fascination with swinging and non-monogamy. But there are probably some people in your perspective who would not do well with swinging or non-monogamy. So who probably shouldn't get involved in this community?
So, I think that there are people who definitely, and we always tell people that's fine, because there are people who be like, I could never do that. And we're like, okay, then don't. Nobody's making you. Or if you're struggling with some relationship issues, you've had some issues in the past, you're not quite Like if you're, you're needing to go to counseling, you're having some inner trauma, inner demons that you haven't dealt with.
Some women will get into this because they are assault victims. And this does give them a way to regain control over all of that. But it also depends on where you're at in your healing process on that. For some people, yes, it's very empowering to be able to say no to somebody or to say yes to somebody, to have complete and utter control and consent is a very healing process to it. But also it depends on where you're at in this healing process and how fresh assault can be. So that can be another huge one. If you had a lot of trauma out there, I mean, this is all stuff that then is all deep seated in your brain that all starts coming out when this lifestyle starts hitting. Because now all of a sudden, there are people out there that, it's not for them. They've been in this one relationship and they're happy. I say this, man, if you look at your partner and you're like, man, I am happy. I love my life. And you both are like high-fiving yourself with how it is, then cool. Then do that and don't change it up. But if you look at your partner and you're like, dude, it'd be fun to do this together, then okay, maybe try this. Who knows?
Yeah. And it's okay that's why we tell people to start slow. Like if you dip your toes into this and you go to an event, or I always tell people, like, go to an event, like see how you feel with your partner talking to other people, or how you feel at these events, get into group chats on, on text or whatever. Like see how it makes you feel. Like don't just dive in. Like baby step your way into this. It's okay to back up.
Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to talk about this and maybe get some information out there, break down some myths and stereotypes. We're going to have links to your social media and your app in our show notes so everybody can find out information if they'd like to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the show, you should tell a friend about the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our Friday News Roundup. Catch you then.